Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're charting a course into the details of one particular ship, the Starship URSA.
Right.
Our mission, basically, is to figure out what makes this cargo vessel notable and maybe what its name tells us about, modern shipping.
Yeah, it's amazing how much one ship can reflect. We've got specs, history, roots.
And that name, lots to unpack. Okay, so let's get started.
Fire away.
All right, so the Starship URSA, it's a container ship flying the flag of the Marshall Islands, and it's pretty big, 172 meters long, 32 meters wide.
Yeah, decent size. And the deadweight tonnage is 23,927 DWT.
Which is basically everything it can carry, right? Cargo, fuel, the works.
Exactly. That capacity is key for moving all the stuff that keeps global trade going.
And it's not exactly new, is it? Built in 2013.
That's right, about 12 years old now.
And built where? It says here, Hyundai Mipo Dockyard in Ulsan, South Korea. That rings a bell? Big shipbuilding place.
Oh, absolutely. Ulsan and Hyundai Mipo specifically, they're major players. Known for, high quality construction, especially for these kinds of vessels.
So coming from there means something.
It suggests a certain standard, reliability.
Okay, and who runs it? Ownership and operation. Namsung Shipping, based in Seoul.
Correct. Namsung Shipping. They're a South Korean sea transport company. They decide where it goes.
And where does it go? Looks like primarily Asian routes.
Very much focused on intra-Asia trade.
We're talking ports like TPHCM in Vietnam.
Yep.
Bangkok and Lam Shabang in Thailand, Hong Kong.
Key hubs.
And then Busan and Gwangyang back in South Korea. That's quite the circuit.
It really is. Those ports are critical nodes in the supply chain. The URSA connects all those dots.
Okay, but let's talk about that name. Starship USA. It's evocative.
It certainly stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Starship, you immediately think space travel, right? SpaceX, maybe.
Definitely got that futuristic vibe.
So why put that on a cargo ship? It feels, ambitious, high-tech.
I think that's likely the point. Projecting modernity, efficiency. Maybe a bit of forward thinking for the company. Like, they're not just hauling boxes, they're part of something, advanced.
Okay, that makes sense. But then there's the second part, URSA.
Right. Ursa, Latin for bear.
Bear.
Okay.
But also constellations, right? Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, the Big Dipper, Little Dipper. Well, the bears they represent.
Exactly. The Great Bear and the Little Bear. Used for navigation for centuries. Millennia, even.
Okay. So Starship is looking forward. Futuristic.
And URSA grounds it, connects it back to the core of seafaring, navigation, guidance.
And bear itself implies what? Strength? Size?
Strength, absolutely. Endurance, size, like you said, qualities you want in a massive ship navigating potentially rough seas. And direction, finding its way, just like sailors use those stars.
So putting them together, Starship Ursa. It's like a blend.
A really interesting blend, I think.
Modern tech meets ancient navigation. Ambition meets fundamental purpose.
Precisely. It captures that duality of modern shipping. Highly sophisticated logistics, advanced vessels, but still doing the essential age-old job of moving goods across the oceans. The name kind of encapsulates that whole idea.
So this deep dive really shows the Starship Ursa isn't just another container ship. It's a solid vessel, doing important work, but with a name that tells a story. It bridges the future and the past of maritime trade.
It's a great example of how much thought can go into something seemingly simple, like a ship's name.
Yeah, definitely more than just a label on the side.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? What about other ship names out there?
Right.
How might they reflect the bigger picture, the trends, the ambitions within global shipping? What other symbols are sailing the seas? And what stories are they telling us about this industry that really affects everyone?
Something to keep an eye out for next time you see a ship name.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we're taking a closer look at a specific vessel you brought to us, the PVT SOLANA. Our mission really is to dig into the details and pull out the most, interesting facts about this ship.
Yeah, think of it as a focused exploration. We've got the data points, right? But the goal is to figure out what they actually mean for this ship and maybe, the wider world it sails in.
Absolutely. And one of the first details that kind of jumps out is the flag. It operates under the flag of Panama. Now, you might think of flags just where it's from, but often it's more complicated, isn't it? Like a business decision.
Precisely, yeah. Registering in a place like Panama, what we call a flag of convenience, it often brings operational advantages. Could be different rules, different costs. It's actually a big part of global shipping strategy. Shows you the economics behind it all.
Huh, interesting. So not just a flag, but a choice. Okay, now let's talk size. Try and picture this. 183 meters long, 32 meters wide. To give you a sense of that scale, 183 meters, that's way longer than 2 American football fields laid end to end.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Those dimensions really tell you something about its carrying capacity and just the sheer engineering needed to build it and keep it stable at sea.
And it's not exactly fresh out of the shipyard either. The info says the PVT SOLANA was built back in 2008. So that makes it, 17 years old now. In the world of these massive ships, what does an age like 17 years suggest? Has it seen some miles?
Oh, definitely. 17 years is, it's a pretty decent lifespan already for a big commercial vessel. It implies, the solid operational history. Depending on how well it's been maintained, a ship that age has likely made countless voyages, carried tons of cargo.
Right, and we know what kind of workhorse it is. It's a tanker, specifically designed for carrying oil. What makes an oil tanker different? Are there special technologies or considerations compared to, say, a container ship?
Yeah, absolutely. Oil tankers need really sophisticated designs and safety measures, obviously, because of the cargo. Think about things like double hulls, that extra layer to reduce spill risks, and specialized systems, maybe inert gas systems, to stop explosions inside the tanks.
Right, you really don't want anything going wrong with that kind of cargo. No kidding. And speaking of cargo, the PVT SOLANA has a deadweight tonnage of 50,129 DWT. Okay, for those of us who don't speak fluent shippies, what does DWT actually tell us? What can it do?
Right. Deadweight tonnage. DWT.
Yeah.
It's basically the total weight a ship can safely carry. And that includes everything, the oil itself, fuel for the ship, the crew, water supplies, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, over 50,000 DWT. That just highlights the massive amount this one vessel can transport.
Wow, okay. That really puts the scale of global oil transport into perspective, doesn't it? And the final piece of the puzzle we have is where it was built. South Korea. What does its origin in South Korea tell us? Does that imply anything about its quality, perhaps?
South Korea is a powerhouse in shipbuilding. They're known globally for advanced tech and generally very high construction standards. So yeah, a ship built there often suggests, a certain level of quality engineering and robust construction from the start.
Okay, interesting. So let's just quickly recap what we've uncovered about the PVT SOLANA. It's a 17-year-old oil tanker flying the Panamanian flag. Got those really impressive dimensions, 183 meters long, 32 wide, a huge carrying capacity, over 50,000 DWT, and built in South Korea, known for its shipbuilding prowess.
Yeah, it paints a pretty clear picture, doesn't it? A significant vessel playing a key role in moving energy around the world.
It really does. And, it makes you think, considering its age, its job carrying oil, where it was built. Imagine the journeys that ship must have taken over 17 years across all sorts of oceans. What stories could that hull tell, It's just one ship. But looking closely like this really opens up this huge world of maritime history and, just how things get moved around the planet. Thanks for diving into this one with us. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to look closely at just one ship, the 1HI-290. It's amazing what you can uncover about, the whole world of trade just from looking at one vessel.
Absolutely. We've got some details here, and they really do open a window onto this huge, complex system of global logistics. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Okay, so let's get oriented. The 1HI-290, it flies the flag of Singapore.
Right.
And size-wise, we're talking 175 meters long, 29 meters wide. So significant, but maybe not one of the absolute giants.
Exactly. It's a very common, versatile size. Think of it as a real workhorse. Ships like this can get into a lot more ports than the megaships, making them vital for regional trade as well as longer routes.
Versatile, okay. Now, what's interesting is its age. Built in 2021, so it's, only 4 years old?
Yeah, pretty new in ship terms.
But we're already seeing mentions of rust on the hull. Gray-white paint, but rust showing, especially near the bow. What's that about?
Well, that just shows you how tough life at sea is. Constant saltwater spray, weather, the sheer stress on the hull. It takes a toll really fast. Even on a new ship, you'll see signs of wear pretty quickly. It highlights the relentless maintenance cycle these vessels need.
Right, keeping that global trade moving doesn't happen without a lot of upkeep.
Definitely not.
And it carries a lot. The deadweight tonnage is listed as 23,803. Can you sort of break that down for us? What does that number really mean?
Sure. Deadweight tonnage, or DWT, that's basically the total weight the ship is certified to carry. So that includes the cargo, fuel, water, supplies, the crew,
Yeah.
everything that isn't the ship itself. So 23,803 tons. It just gives you a scale, doesn't it? The sheer volume of goods moving on just this one ship.
23,000 tons.
Wow.
And we know it's carrying containers from Interasia and also One AI, so different companies using the same ship.
Oh, absolutely. That's standard practice. Shipping lines form alliances, they share space on vessels. It's all about maximizing efficiency and network reach. You have cargo booked with one line, but it might physically travel on a partner-line ship. It's a really interconnected business.
Makes sense. Logistics is key. Now, maybe the most intriguing detail for me is the mention of reefer containers, the refrigerated ones.
Ah, yes. Reefers.
That tells us something different, right? It's not just carrying, I don't know, electronics or dry goods.
Exactly. The presence of reefers means the ship is equipped to handle temperature-sensitive cargo. We're talking fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, dairy, maybe even pharmaceuticals. Things that need to be kept cool or frozen during transit. This immediately tells you something about the potential trade routes it serves, connecting places that trade in perishable goods.
So it adds another layer to the story of what the ship is doing and where it might be going.
Precisely. It hints at supply chains for food or other sensitive products.
Okay, so stepping back, we've looked at this one ship, the One HII 290. Why is digging into these details, well, why is it so revealing?
Because the single ship, the One HI 290, it's like a microcosm of the entire global trade system.
Huh.
Its flag, its size, the wear and tear, the mix of cargo, the companies involved, the reefer capability, all these details reflect the massive, intricate, and frankly, often invisible network that brings us almost everything we use.
Right. So to quickly recap, Singapore flag, 175 meters long, pretty new but showing signs of hard work, carrying over 23,000 tons for potentially multiple companies, including those crucial refrigerated containers.
It's a snapshot of a vital piece of infrastructure in action. And when you think about it, this ship and thousands like it are constantly moving. They connect producers and consumers across continents, directly impacting the food you eat, the clothes you wear, the technology you use every day.
It really makes you think. And those reefer containers, what specific things might be inside them on the One HAI 290? Could it be bananas from South America, pharmaceuticals from Europe, seafood from Asia? And what does the need for those specific goods tell us about the economies and the people at either end of its journey? Something to ponder about the hidden currents of our world. Thanks for taking this step dive with us.